Has someone ever judged you for your skin or for your character and you didn't really know how to respond or react? This video is going to be about how to deal with judgment from those kind of people, depending on how well you know this person. And I'll be sharing 3 practical ways that you can deal with judgment. When you're being judged, you begin to question your own opinions and values about something. So 3 questions to ask yourself when somebody judges you and to keep in mind are, is this information true? Is this information helpful? And is the intention to better myself? So keep those in mind as we go throughout this video. Number 1 is people who you don't know. People who give you unsolicited advice or judgment or information that you don't really need, but they just, I don't know, for some reason they feel the need to tell you how to live your life. I think that the best way to respond to these sort of people is to just kind of shrug it off, to take it with a grain of sand, because these people don't know you and you don't know them. Who are they to tell you how to live your life? Honestly, I think you need to develop a sort of relationship in order for somebody to have a say on what you're doing. But keep in mind, is this information true? Is it helpful? And is the intention to better myself? For example, someone might say to me, hey, you're like super skinny, you need to eat more. And I've gotten this. Some people have said that I'm too skinny and I need to eat more. And I think, is this true? Yeah, it's true. I'm skinny. Is this helpful? Not really, because they don't know my diet. They don't know what I eat on a daily basis. They don't see what I eat. And I have a pretty healthy diet. I'm not going to say I'm the most healthy eater out there. I didn't make my body this way, and I'm not going to overeat just because people think I need to eat more. If it's all wrong, if it's not true, if it's not helpful, or the intention isn't to help, then you can just really shrug it off. You don't need to put any energy or effort into rebuking that person for judging you, because it's just not worth your time. The second point is people who you sort of know, like acquaintances and friends. This is where it gets a little tricky, because you have to kind of define that line between how well you know this person and how much you trust them. And I think the best way to respond to somebody who you sort of know is through humor. So it'd be really rude if you were to just sort of shrug it off and ignore somebody who you knew pretty well. That's just kind of rude. You don't want to just ignore a friend, especially if they give you some sort of criticism. But I think the best way is to respond like politely or out of humor. For example, I think this relates a lot to when I was in college and I lived with my roommates. I have a problem. I cannot wake up in the morning. I have a really hard time waking up to my alarm, so I would snooze it like 7 times, 7, 8, 9 times, and yeah, it was a problem, and my roommates would kind of lightly judge me and be like, you should probably wake up. And yeah, that was something that I needed to hear. Was it true? Yes. 100% it was true. Was it helpful? Yes. And was the intention to better myself? Yes. So all of those things were yes. And that was judgment that I should have taken. But I think a lot of the times how I would respond to it was out of humor, and they would also kind of react out of humor, and it was just a way for us to keep the situation light. Eventually, I think when it gets to a point where it's a problem and it needs to be something that is more serious and confrontational, then we can work up to that point. But I think I really appreciate that my roommates weren't all like, you need to be like this. Because I would have been like, who are you to tell me what to do? If you're getting information from this video so far, then I would really appreciate if you hit that like button to let me know. The third person is somebody who you know and trust, and they know and trust you. So I think the best way to respond to somebody who knows and trusts you, who judges you, is to take it as constructive criticism, because this person knows who you are, they've developed a relationship with you, and I think they have a right to sort of confront you about your character. If this person really did care about you, they wouldn't just address something out of the blue to harm you. So yeah, keep those questions in mind. Is this information true? Is it helpful? And is it intended to better myself? And if those questions are still answered and they're wrong, then maybe you do have to reevaluate what this person is saying. For example, for me, my brothers, they tell me that I tend to dwell on the past a lot. And I was like, okay, that's kind of rude, but in a way, I had to reevaluate myself and keep an open mind, because I think when we are hindered by our own pride, then we can't learn. We need to humble ourselves and receive judgment. You can react to it, but I think we need to step back also. So basically they said that I dwell too much on the past, and I thought, is this true? And it is true. I do tend to dwell in the past because I'm a person who thinks that the person who I am today is because of the things that happened to me in the past. And I'm sort of like in this life maze of when I'm stuck somewhere, when I don't know where to go, I tend to reroute myself backwards and like figure out a path. And it's just like a maze where when I get stuck, I like to go backwards, and that's not a good way to think, but that's just kind of how my brain is. And I do dwell on the past sometimes. Is it helpful? Yeah, I think that's very helpful that they told me that I do that, because it was sort of like a mirror being held up to my face saying like, hey Shay, you sort of tend to do this a lot, and you know, maybe it's not healthy for you. And that's true. And is the intention to better myself? Yeah, I think they want me to be able to let go of the past and to move on so that I can live the rest of my life and, you know, focus things that are happening now and things that will be happening in the future. Because I think it's good for us to look back on our past, but we shouldn't dwell on those things. In summary, the 3 ways that you can respond to judgment is no response, just sort of shrug it off, humor, and then constructive criticism. The next time somebody judges you about your skin, your personality, your character, or whatever, make sure that you're thinking about those 3 questions. Is it true? Is it helpful? And is this to better myself? I think that will really help you to discern whether or not this judgment is going to help you to grow, to become a better person, or if you can just sort of just shake it off and not care about what they say. That's pretty much it for this video. If you enjoyed this one, then you can check out these videos here too as well. As always, stay beautiful and God bless. I just wanna be